Hi guys, and welcome back to my weekly weigh-in number 2. Let's talk weight loss. This week I think I've done pretty well in terms of my food. I've really not swayed off the plan at all this week. I've eaten really healthy foods. I've not had any urges to eat anything bad for me. I've not wanted to overeat anything at all. And I've just done what I normally do week on week in terms of staying in a calorie deficit. The problem I've had this week is I have not been able to exercise as much as I've wanted to. I've been able to go out and do a couple runs. At the weekend I went for a run with my friend and I did 7 miles non-stop and it was hard. My body is still recovering from January. I didn't actually film January, but in January I did over 100 miles in a month. Personally, I think I'm still recovering from that, and that's why I'm really struggling with my runs lately. But my husband had the plan to run 100 miles in 7 days. That meant that he was going out for longer runs and more often. He works full time and he was going to have to go out in the evenings. So I would normally run a couple evenings a week because that would be the only time I could get out if I want to maximise my runs. In this case, the week that I've just had, Matt's been having to use the evenings to do his half marathons every day. And then at the weekend, obviously he was doing a bit more mileage to round it up to 100 for the whole week. This meant that when Matt was out running, I obviously had to stay home with Chloe. Whereas normally in the weeks, if I was out running, Matt would stay home with Chloe. By the time he got back from his runs, it was already really late and I wouldn't have had time to do an hour's worth of running to then come home, have a wash, get in my pyjamas, and it would just be bedtime. I do find as the day goes on, my motivation just gets lower and lower in terms of any form of exercise. Even with running, which is my favourite hobby. I just really appreciate those evenings where I can just sit down, have a cup of tea and watch something on the telly. We've all been there. So because of the lack of running and lack of exercise that I am used to doing in the week, I knew that that would hinder me this week. I believe that's probably why I didn't want to eat anything bad, or I didn't want to go over any calories on any particular day, because I knew that I wasn't exercising as much. I needed to make sure I was in a calorie deficit enough that I was still going to lose weight. Now, if you're not exercising and you've already cut your calories down anyway, then that's quite difficult. And I weren't willing to starve. But I stepped on the scales this morning and last week I weighed in at 175 pounds exactly. And this week I stepped on the scales and I weighed 174.8. I know, 0.2 pounds. I basically just maintained. But this is a good thing because it's going in the right direction. And I was convinced that I was going to put weight on this week. Now, when I got off those scales and I realised that I'd only lost 0.2 pounds, I'm going to be honest, I was heartbroken. I also thought about the fact that I was filming this video today and I couldn't give you a massive weight loss. This is what has been happening over the last year. In total now, I've lost 55.6 pounds. Now, I know I'm in this for the long run, so I know that there will be weeks where I lose 0. There has been weeks where I've lost just 0 point something, but it will all come off eventually. Now that Matt's finished his challenge, he completed it by the way, we now have masses of snow in the part of England that I live in, which is great for my 2-year-old, nearly 3-year-old, to run around and play in, but it's not great for me in terms of running outside for weight loss. I am intending to get on that treadmill and getting some miles in my legs. I'm desperate to up my game in terms of exercise this week, and hopefully I can come back with another loss next week. So what I want to be taken from this video is that it doesn't matter, even if I put on ½ pound this week, I would still have been happy because this is a long game and I want you guys to be upbeat and excited about your journey because you can do it. And at no point have I considered stopping, not even for a second. because stopping means that I probably will be gaining weight afterwards, week on week on week. And if I just make the decision to keep going, even though it's hard, even though sometimes I really don't want to do it, as long as I'm staying the same or losing, it's a win. Now, your body will fluctuate in weight regardless, but it's just knowing that that's going to happen and that's okay that makes it okay. Let me know if you're trying to lose weight. Let me know if you're going through the weeks that I'm going through this week. I've had some really supportive messages over on my Instagram. Absolutely amazing. I can see some progress in some other people as well. And it's inspiring just to see. That's it for this week. Check out my vlogs if you want to see what I'm up to in the week. If not, I will see you next week for another weekly weigh-in. Fingers crossed I can get these numbers down. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.